Hare Krishna. So I had sent the Panchatattva mantra and the Hare Krishna Maha mantra as well. Hope you all were able to chant at least 108 times of Hare Krishna Maha mantra, and hope you were able to chant the Panchatattva mantra as well. As I mentioned, while we chant Hare Krishna Maha mantra, we may be knowingly or unknowingly committing some offenses to the holy name. By praying sincerely to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna's incarnation. Krishna himself came 500 years back. By praying to him and to his associates, who are called Panchatattva, we will be able to overcome the negative effects of committing offenses to the holy name. So it is advisable that we chant 3 times at least Hare Panchatattva mantra before we begin to chant the Hare Krishna Maha mantra. Even in the initial prayer that I recite before the start of this class, if you have noticed it, I usually recite the Panchatattva mantra also. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta. Right? So my humble request, kindly chant the Panchatattva mantra 3 times, followed by minimum 108 times of Hare Krishna Maha mantra. Maximum, sky is the limit. Even if you can go on chanting throughout your day, if your time permits, please do so. Right? But Srila Prabhupada, he recommends that the followers of ISKCON, Krishna Consciousness Movement, we chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha mantra, which means 16 into 108 times Hare Krishna Maha mantra. Right? So with that, let's begin the session for today. I'm going to share my screen now. Able to see my screen? Chapter 10, Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, bro.
So chapter 10 is entitled as The Opulence of the Absolute. Anybody remembers what was the title of the previous chapter? Chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita.
Most confidential knowledge.
Most confidential. Very good. Who said that? Usha Mataji. Hari Bol.
Correct.
Right. So I will begin the session with a small recap from the previous session, chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 9 overview, we saw how Krishna was speaking about the knowledge that he is going to give in the 9th chapter. There are 3 levels of knowledge: confidential, more confidential, most confidential. Guhyam, Guhyatara, Guhyatamam. 9th chapter is all about most confidential knowledge. And Krishna spoke about what is the qualification of such a recipient. So he should be a devotee and he should have a relationship with Krishna. Only such personalities are qualified to receive this knowledge from Krishna. And what is the nature of this knowledge? Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Pratyaksham Avagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Right? So this is the king of all knowledge, Raja Vidya. Raja Guhyam, which means it is most confidential. Guhyam means something which is hidden. Pavitram, it is purified of all sins, sinless. Idam Uttamam, topmost. Pratyaksham Avagamam Dharmyam. You can actually experience it yourself when you start practicing this confidential knowledge. Susukam, joyful, extremely joyful. Prabhupada, I was quoting from last session that Prabhupada often used to say, this Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga is so easy. Even a child can practice this. All it requires is you just need to chant, you need to dance, sing, and eat prashadam. That's it. It is not going to be very painful at all, unlike the other processes. We saw Dhyana Yoga, how difficult it is. Jnana Yoga, that is also very difficult. You need to acquire Vedic knowledge by your own study of scriptures. Very, very difficult. But Bhakti Yoga or Krishna conscious, easiest process. So that is the nature of this knowledge. And then subsequently, Krishna spoke about how he is inconceivable. His qualities are inconceivable. The creation is inconceivable. We saw how Lord Brahma himself, he could not understand Krishna from that pastime, isn't it? Where Brahma was bewildered. He had a doubt whether Krishna could be supreme or not, because he was such a child playing some childish activities with his friends. How could such a small boy be supreme God? So Brahma had that doubt. So even Lord Brahma, the creator of this universe, he himself could not conceive the Supreme Lord's activities. What to speak of us, ordinary souls, not having any proper knowledge at all? How can we understand Krishna? Right? So that details are given in the second section. And in the third section, Krishna speaks about who are those people that neglect Krishna and who are those that accept Krishna. So, and then Krishna also speaks about what is the result when somebody accepts him as a Supreme Lord and starts rendering devotional service. Bhakti means devotional service. Bhakti does not only mean devotion. Devotion we may have, but how are we exhibiting that devotion? What way are we reciprocating with Supreme Lord? Is it enough if we say that I love Krishna, I adore Krishna, I respect Krishna? So all those are statements, mere statements. But how can we show to Krishna that we really love him? By some concrete action. So by performing devotional service, by performing seva unto the Supreme Lord. And chanting the holy name of Krishna is one such seva. Amidst all our other material duties, if somebody can spend 10 minutes of his time daily to chant the holy name of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So then we are actually taking one step towards Krishna. And Krishna becomes happy with our gesture. So that is the glory of devotional service. By doing devotional service, we can get eternal life full of happiness. It's not just when we end our life. Of course, when a devotee ends his life, he is going to remember Krishna and he is going to go back to Krishna's place. But even whilst we are staying or while we are present in this material world, even in this moment as well, we can lead a life full of happiness. That is possible when we are rendering service to Krishna. Because Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. Suhridam sarva bhutanam yatvamam shanti mrichati. When we can actually render service to Krishna, understanding that he is the supreme enjoyer, then we can remain with complete peace. Happiness is completely assured. Right? And Krishna also is saying that it is not so difficult to worship him. Even a normal person on the street can also worship Krishna. Krishna is giving that formula. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam asnami prayatatmanaha. Patram, a leaf. Pushpam, a flower. Phalam, fruit. Toyam, water. If somebody can offer Krishna a small quantity of either a leaf or a flower or a fruit or water, little water, but the only criteria here is Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. We need to give that, we need to offer to Krishna with devotion. If we can do that, then Krishna is going to accept our offering and he is going to bestow his blessings on us. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam. Bhakti word is emphasized here multiple times. That goes to show that only bhakti can conquer Krishna. You know, one time this famous incident happened. Krishna went to Duryodhan's place. What for he went to his place? Anybody knows that past time? Why Krishna went to Duryodhan's palace? He is fond of Pandavas, that everybody knows. Why should Krishna go to Duryodhana's place?
For a peace talk before war.
To negotiate for Pandavas some space, say about 5 states to be given to him.
Yeah, so
To
basically to
Pandavas.
negotiate. Yes. So Krishna wanted to make an attempt to see if the war can be avoided, right? So he went to Duryodhana's place, and Duryodhana, in order to show his strength, he wanted to show off. See Krishna, how opulent I am. I am having this big kingdom of Hastinapur. So I have so much of wealth. So he wanted to show off. So what he did, he prepared lavish food items for Krishna. And then asked Krishna, Krishna, why don't you come and have lunch with us? Krishna said, no, I am not feeling hungry. And then he wanted to leave that place. Actually, Krishna was feeling so much of hunger. He wanted to eat. But he did not have the thought that he should eat in Duryodhana's place. Right? Krishna would accept even Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam if it is given with love and devotion. Right? So then he went and asked Vidura. Vidura was a devotee of Lord Krishna. Vidura, by the way, was the minister of Dhritarashtra. So Vidura became so happy. Oh, Krishna, please, you are most welcome. I will make arrangements. You come home, I will give you food. So Krishna agreed, and Vidura, he passed this message to his wife who was at home. He ordered his wife, please make some preparations for Krishna. He is going to come home for lunch. So Vidura's wife, Vidurani, she became super excited. Whoa, wow, what a good news. I am eagerly awaiting to serve Krishna. So like that, she was thinking and she prepared exotic items. But she had so much of love and devotion. No, I am preparing this for Krishna. So with that thought process, she made so many items. And she was just gazing at the door, waiting for Krishna's arrival. And within a few minutes, Krishna came. The horse landed in front of Vidura's house. She was super excited. She went to the corridor. She wanted to welcome Krishna with flower garlands and so many other things. As soon as Krishna landed in their house, Vidurani's mind became blank. She couldn't think or she couldn't act anything at all because she was completely mesmerized looking at the Supreme Lord Krishna. So then Vidura asked Krishna to sit on the asan, and he and his wife, they were massaging Krishna's feet. And then Vidura said, why don't you bring some food for Krishna? So Vidurani went inside. She was completely in great happiness and joy, and she couldn't calm her down. She was super excited. She brought all the food items that she prepared with so much of effort, and then a plate full of bananas. And you know what she did? Of all the food items that she prepared, she peeled the banana one by one. Instead of giving the banana fruit to Krishna, she fed him with banana peels. And you know what Krishna did? He accepted that peel. He knows that it was a banana peel, not banana fruit. He ate that banana peel and he was super happy. Vidura was completely shocked. What is this? My beloved wife is doing so much of offense to Krishna. How can you feed Krishna with a banana peel? He started chastising his own wife in front of Krishna. And then Krishna stopped Vidura. Vidura, please stop. I am accepting whatever your wife is going to give me because it may not be so exotic, but it is filled with love. It is much more than the exotic food that anybody can give, including you. So that was the reciprocation of the Supreme Lord Krishna. You may be a pauper. You may not have anything at home, but water anybody can have, right? Little bit of tulasi, you can get it in front of any temple for 5 rupees, 10 rupees. If you don't have anything at all with you, but still if you can offer a small little cup of water with tulasi on top, offer it to Krishna with love and devotion, requesting him to take that food, then Krishna accepts that food. That is the magnanimity of Supreme Lord Krishna. He accepts your love and devotion, not the nature of food or nature of item that you are offering. That doesn't really matter actually, right? So this is a chapter filled with Krishna's statements, reassuring how Bhakti Yoga is very dear to Krishna. Only Bhakti can attract him, not any other process. Right? So that's why Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON's founder Acharya, he very nicely grasped this essence of Bhakti Yoga, which is what Bhagavad Gita is all about. And he gave this very nicely packaged in the form of Krishna conscious processes. We saw those processes also. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Basically, hearing about Lord, chanting his holy name, remembering the Lord, serving him in the form of deities, and then worshipping him as a servant, performing archan to him, becoming his friend, becoming his beloved, and surrendering oneself completely to him. So these are the different processes by which we can render devotional service to Krishna. Right? So this is a overview of the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. With that note, we will get into the 10th chapter now. Another interesting chapter for all of us. Let's get into this 10th chapter. Okay, so different sections that we are going to cover in today's session. Krishna says how he is the source of everything. Everything emanates from Krishna. Right? So that we will see between text number 1 to 7. And 8 to 11 is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. 8, 9, 10, and 11. These 4 slokas, they are called the Chatur Sloki of Bhagavad Gita. There are 700 plus slokas in Bhagavad Gita. And of all the 700 plus slokas, these 4 slokas are the most important ones. It is said that daily, if you can recite these 4 slokas, 10.8, 9, 10, and 11, it is as good as reciting all the Bhagavad Gita slokas. So, if anybody want to recite Bhagavad Gita slokas daily, you can better choose these 4 slokas. Right? So, by that, you can actually cover the entire Bhagavad Gita. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And in the 3rd section, Arjuna is becoming very curious. He wanted to know more and more about Krishna's activities and opulences. So he is asking those questions out of curiosity. And finally, Krishna helps us to understand him in all aspects of life. How Krishna is pervading everywhere. You cannot miss Krishna in any part of our life. Right? So these are the different aspects of the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is the source of everything. So, source of everything, which means we need to know Krishna. He is the source of all. He is known, but yet he is unknown. Which means nobody can fully understand Krishna. Reading the Vedic scriptures, reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, we are only getting a partial glimpse of Krishna's glories. Nobody can fully understand Krishna. Right? So that is not possible. Because Krishna is unlimited, his glories are also unlimited. How can somebody who has limited capacity understand someone who is unlimited? That is not possible. Right? So with the help of Bhagavad Gita, we are trying to understand the unlimited glories of Krishna. So in the first text itself, Krishna is beginning. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Bhuya eva mahabaho shrunu me paramam vachaha yatte ham priyamanaya vakshyami hitakamyaya. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So Krishna explained through chapter 1 to chapter 9 many aspects. He spoke about the difference between body and soul. He also spoke about aspects of karma, how karma, when the activities are performed for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord Krishna, then we are not bound up by the reaction of the activities. So that he explained from chapter 3, 4 and 5. 6th chapter we saw how he was explaining about Dhyana Yoga. So like that, Krishna, through these chapters from 1 to 9, he explained so many things. And now, because Krishna understood that Arjuna is so keen to learn Bhakti Yoga, he is going to explain in this chapter. Krishna says, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of demigods and sages. Even the demigods, devatas, great sages, big rishis, they also cannot understand the origin of Krishna. Krishna's another name is Anadi. Adi means somebody who is having origin. Anadi means somebody who doesn't have any origin. Right? So, he is the first person who is existing. From him only everything else comes. So, that knowledge is not so easily understandable, even to the great devatas. So, this we can understand that, Krishna being such a great personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of all the other avatars, he is the cause of Lord Brahma's appearance also. But in spite of being so magnanimous, so infinite and very hard to understand, but still Mother Yashoda, who is the dearmost mother of the Supreme Lord Krishna, she was able to make Krishna afraid. In this picture on the left side, you can see how Krishna was running, fearing Mother Yashoda. It so happened that Krishna stole butter from his own house. Mother Yashoda caught Krishna red-handed. So she was chasing Krishna, and Krishna is out of fear. He is running like a small child. Now, here is a person whom even fear personified also fears. Fear personified, who comes at the death of all the living entities, that fear personified also fears for Supreme Lord Krishna. But such a great personality like Supreme Lord Krishna is completely in fear of Mother Yashoda. So he is unknown, but yet he is known to Mother Yashoda. What is the qualification of Mother Yashoda? Pure devotion. Only by devotion can you attract Krishna, Supreme Lord Krishna. Only by devotion can somebody know Krishna as well. You cannot understand Krishna because you are a Sanskrit Pandit. You know the Vedic literature upside down. I'm sorry, sir. That is not a qualification to understand Krishna. Somebody may be born in a very righteous family, such an aristocratic family. Sorry, that is not a qualification to understand Krishna. You may have all beauty, all wealth, all glories, but still there is no necessity that Krishna should be bound up by you. But here she is Mother Yashoda, such a simple village lady. She is not a great Pandit. She did not know all the Vedic literatures, but she had such deep love for Supreme Lord Krishna. And by her parental love, she was able to know Supreme Lord Krishna, not only know Krishna, but also to bind him in this wooden mortar. The famous pastime that happened, isn't it? Krishna was bound up in this wooden mortar by Mother Yashoda. So he is unknown, but still he is known to his pure devotees. That is why we need to become a devotee of Supreme Lord Krishna. So life lesson for us, though inconceivable and unapproachable, but still Krishna can be bound by ropes of love. So that is in the first section of chapter 10. The next section, Krishna is speaking about the 4 important slokas, important verses in Bhagavad Gita. 4 important verses in entire Bhagavad Gita. What are they? Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhavas samanvitaha. Chapter 10 and text number 8. Krishna is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. From me comes everything else. Mattah sarvam pravartate. Everything is resting on him only. Right? So, Krishna is the source of everything. If we can understand this truth, Krishna is the source of everything. What is this knowledge called out of the 3? Confidential, more confidential, most confidential. How do you classify this? Krishna is the source of everything. We saw in the last class.
Most confidential.
Yes, Mataji?
Most confidential, Prabhu.
It is actually more
Is
confident.
it,
More
is it
confident.
Goyam, Goyatama,
Guhyatara.
and Goyatamam?
So, Guhyatamam is basically devotional service. Only devotional service can attract Krishna. That is Guhyatamam. Guhyatara is where we understand Krishna is the origin. Krishna is the supreme personality. More confidential. Again, Krishna is reiterating in 10th chapter also. Aham sarvasya prabhu. He's saying he is the origin, source of everything. And in the next verse, in the 9th verse of chapter 10, he's saying, what are the symptoms of my pure devotee? Matchitta madgata pranaha bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. What is the symptom of my pure devotee? Somebody who understands that I am the source of everything. They always relish Krishna Katha, pastimes of Lord Krishna. They would like to share about Krishna to others. And in sharing so, they derive great pleasure, great happiness. Those are the symptoms of a pure devotee. That is explained in verse number 9. And in verse number 10, Krishna speaks about how it is he only who gives the intelligence to his devotees. Right? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tvam yenamam upayantite. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam. I am the one who is giving buddhi, intelligence. How is it that the devotees of the Lord are so intelligent? You ask any questions about Krishna, they are able to answer. How is it possible? Because Krishna is giving that intelligence. We don't possess anything, right? So we all are born in this material world. Somebody may be a rank holder in college. Somebody may be an IITN. Somebody may be a doctor. Those are material qualifications which we acquired by Krishna's grace. Understand that with completeness. Don't claim any. Don't think that you are responsible for your material intelligence. No. Only Krishna is giving us intelligence. And in the 10th sloka, Krishna is saying, I am giving you that spiritual intelligence. Right? So that is in the 10th sloka. In 11th sloka, Krishna, he mercifully destroys ignorance. My devotee may be aware that I am the source of everything. He would relish sharing the pastimes with others. He is given intelligence by me. And by my mercy, I am also destroying whatever little ignorance that he possesses. Tesham evanukam partha aham ajnanatam jam tamaha. Nashayam atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. I am the one who is destroying ajnana, ignorance in my devotee. Right? So, such a profound statement coming from the Supreme Lord Krishna in these 4 slokas. We'll try to understand this little detail. Aham sarvasya Prabhu. I am the source of everything. Krishna is the source of not just spiritual world. He is the source of entire spiritual and material worlds. All the different universes, planets, both in the material and spiritual world, everything is emanating from Krishna. The wise who perfectly knows this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. When somebody understands this completely, then his devotion towards Krishna increases and he starts rendering service to Krishna. Right? So elsewhere in the scriptures, we can find reference to this. How Krishna is the source of everything. Krishna is the Adi Purusha. He is the beginning of everything. From him first came Balarama. Right? Krishna is also taking advent as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and 500 years back. And he also came as Nityananda Prabhu 500 years back. Lord Nityananda. So from Krishna came Balarama, and from Balarama came original Chatur Vyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. From them came the secondary Chatur Vyuha, again Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. These are different creations or incarnations that are coming from Supreme Lord Krishna. Try to understand it. You cannot understand everything in this session. Try to get a glimpse of this and then you can slowly digest what it is. From secondary Chaturvyuha, especially the Sankarshana, comes Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu comes, Mahavishnu is also called as Karanodakasai Vishnu. From Karanodakasai Vishnu comes Garbhodakasai Vishnu. From him comes Kshirodakasai Vishnu. So what are they? So Krishna is the origin. From him Balarama, Chaturvyuha. From Chaturvyuha comes Karanodakasai Vishnu. Karanodakasai Vishnu is the Karana or reason for creation of all the universes. So we are all staying in one particular universe and in a single planet called Earthly planet. Right? This universe is comprising of different planets. Like that, there are billions and billions of universes. All these universes are created by Mahavishnu. And in each universe, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, Supreme Lord Krishna as Garbhodakasai Vishnu, he goes and he manages that individual universe. Right? You would have seen this famous posture of the Supreme Lord lying on Kshira Sagara, right? Ocean of milk, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that is the famous posture of Garbhodakasai Vishnu. From Garbhodakasai Vishnu, which is nothing but the maintainer of a single universe, Kshirodakasai Vishnu comes. Kshirodakasai Vishnu is none other than Paramatma sitting in the heart of all the living entities. In each one of our living entities' heart, Vishnu is sitting as Paramatma. Even in the body of an ant, in the body of a lion, elephant, man, tiger, all the living entities, Krishna is sitting in their heart as Paramatma. That Paramatma is none other than Kshirodakasai Vishnu. Karanodakasai Vishnu, creator of all the planets. Garbhodakasai Vishnu, maintainer of a single planet, single universe. Kshirodakasai Vishnu, who is sitting in each and every living entity's heart as Paramatma. This is how Supreme Lord Krishna's expansions are actually maintaining the entire cosmic manifestation. Now you understand why we say Krishna is the origin of all the avatars. Krishna is avatari, the origin of all the avatars. Right? Just like how the spider, it creates a big web, isn't it? Similarly, the Supreme Lord, so the Mahavishnu, from him comes multiple universes. Each universe, he goes as Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and within each living entities, he goes and resides as Kshirodakasai Vishnu. So this is about Krishna being the source of everything. Then in the 9th sloka, Krishna talks about how the devotee of Lord Krishna, they are always dwelling in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. They are fully devoted to Krishna's service, and by enlightening about others, conversing about Krishna's glories and pastimes, they are actually getting tremendous amount of satisfaction. Just like how when somebody is sharing about Krishna's glories from Srimad Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita, his heart becomes cleansed, purified. Once our heart is purified, that's when the real ananda or happiness comes out. Right? So it's not such a amazing thing or unfathomable thing, but it's all possible by the Supreme Lord's mercy. Right? So the devotees of the Lord, what are their qualities? They always share or talk about Krishna. I will tell you one real incident about my own spiritual master. My spiritual master, he is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. His name is His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. So he took up Krishna consciousness in 1966 when he met Srila Prabhupada in US. And from then on, from 1966 till today, he has been tirelessly practicing Krishna consciousness. For what? More than 50 years, isn't it? Yeah, more than 50 years. So much so that not even for a single moment can he remain without talking about Krishna. He had a severe stroke in the year 2008. His hands and legs got paralyzed. You can go to internet and you can search for his name. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. Jayapataka Swami. Right? So you can see how he was looking like before the stroke in 2008. He used to be gigantic, with such a great spiritual personality. But by Krishna's plan, in 2008, he got brain stroke and he became paralyzed. He could not speak properly. Then subsequently, he had so many health challenges. He had liver and kidney failure. He got transplanted with kidney and liver. That also failed. The transplanted kidney also failed. Now he is living on dialysis. He has cancer. He had liver problems. He had problems in his eyes, ears, whatnot. All the problems that you can think of, he's having actually. But in spite of all these health issues, still he is able to strongly preach Krishna's message. So, in 2019, in 2018, he had a liver and kidney transplant. He was admitted in a hospital in Chennai. And as soon as he got operated, the surgery went on for multiple hours. I think more than 20 hours. He was operated for a kidney and liver transplant. So that was a tedious procedure. By Krishna's mercy, he survived that. And then it took him so long for him to regain his consciousness. As you know, when somebody undergoes surgery, because he is given anesthesia, general anesthesia, it takes a lot of time for him to recover. So it took him several hours. He was kept in ICU to regain consciousness. As soon as he regained consciousness, you know what he said? He understood that he was given IV injections and tubes all over his body. He was being fed on tube, multiple tubes floating all around in the ICU. And even in that condition, he wanted to communicate something to his servant, personal servant. So he called him and in a slate, he wrote and tried to convey. You know what he wrote? He took several minutes to convey what he wanted to say. He inquired that day, when he regained consciousness, it was actually an Ekadasi day. On Ekadasi, we are not supposed to consume grains, rice, wheat, dal. So we need to avoid all that because it is mentioned in the scripture that on Ekadasi day, Papa Purusha is residing in grains. So we are not supposed to consume grains and beans. So Guru Maharaj, in spite of undergoing such a tedious procedure, having regained consciousness only then, he was so conscious about what food he was being given. In the slate, he was writing and inquiring, what am I being fed? Am I being fed with grains? That was his question to the devotee there. The devotee was sharing to all of us that, this is someone who is actually acting on the platform of, I am not this body. Right? How can somebody be so conscious of what is going to please Krishna? We understand that following Ekadasi is going to please Krishna, but not when somebody is undergoing surgery, such a complex surgery. But because he is such a pure devotee, In spite of any circumstances, any physical ill health, he was able to maintain the Krishna conscious standards. He was able to make an attempt to please Krishna. And not only that, during that stay in the hospital, to each and every nurses and doctors that he visits, he used to inquire them, how are you doing? The doctors used to be completely surprised, because usually what happens when somebody is in hospital and the doctor comes and visits the patient, it will be the doctor who would inquire the patient how you are doing, not the other way around, isn't it? The patient will be completely drained, having undergone a surgery. And when the doctor, as soon as he starts asking how you are, he will give a big list of complaint. Oh, I am having this pain, that pain. I am feeling drowsy. I am not able to eat. I am not able to move my finger, hand. So many complaints we will make. But here is a personality, in spite of undergoing such a tremendous painful surgery, he was inquiring all the nurses, physicians, and doctors how they are doing. Not just for the sake of lip service. He really meant their well-being. He was sharing about Krishna. He was requesting them to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He gave them all chanting mantra and chanting counters so that they can chant. And you know what? Whichever hospital he goes, he makes all the doctors and nurses as devotees. And all the doctors and nurses, they are so fond of this personality. They have never seen such a patient in their life, who is always remembering and thinking and sharing about Krishna. Right? That is the personification of someone who is leading a life like what Krishna is saying here. Matchitta madgata pranaha bodhayanta parasparam hatayantaschamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. My pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another about conversing about me. They derive great satisfaction discussing about Krishna's pastimes. That is the mark of a pure devotee. Right? Such a profound statement from the 10th chapter. And when we associate with such personalities, they are all called sadhu. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Khai, Lava Matra Sadhu Sange, Sarva Siddhi Hai. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, the famous scripture. It says, the verdict of all revealed scriptures is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Such a profound statement. If in your life you can meet a sadhu, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, then your life is successful. There is one famous story around this. There was a great king by the name Virata. He was ruling the kingdom, and he had his brother who was such an impious person, sinful person. He always used to commit so many sinful activities, always drinking. He derived great pleasure in drinking alcohol, always in an inebriated state. So this Virata, he was always in great anxiety. How can I save my brother? He is leading such a sinful life. I am feeling such unhappiness looking at him. So it so happened that Narada Muni came to see the king Virata. Narada Muni is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. As you all know, he always sings the glories of Lord in his Veena. Right? He travels around the three worlds and he always sings Lord's holy name. So Narada Muni came, and Virata requested Narada Muni, oh Narada Muni, please help my brother. My brother is leading such a sinful life. You please make him as a devotee. Then Narada went and requested the brother Why don't you chant the holy name of Lord? Then Virata's brother, he got offended. He said, what is this chanting? I don't believe in all this. Come on, let's drink together. I will serve you liquor. Let's drink liquor together. Then Narada, he went away. And Virata again went and requested Narada Muni, what happened? Did my brother request to your, did my brother agree to your request? Narada Muni said, no, your brother is hopeless. No, he is not willing to chant the Lord's holy name. Then Virata requested, please Narada, please don't give up on my brother. Somehow make him a devotee. Then Narada agreed and he again went to his brother and then said, oh, sinful person, whenever you are into great trouble, you please ask this question. What question? You ask the person who is going to take away your life that what is the mahima of someone who is taking association of a pure devotee. What is the great mahima of someone who is associating with a pure devotee? You ask that question to the person who takes away your life. He told this and Narada Muni went away. And after some years, this person was about to pass away. He died and he went back to Yamaloka for punishment. Yamadharmaraja saw his full account. Oh, this person is such a sinful person. So let me ask if there is any last wish. So then Yamadharmaraja asked him, is there any last wish? Then he said, I wanted to ask one question. Can you please answer me? Yamadharmaraja said, why? Why don't? Please ask. I will try to answer. So then he asked, I have a doubt. What is the glory of someone who gets to associate with a pure devotee? Then Yamaraj, he was taken back. He did not know the answer. Oh, that's a very good question, but unfortunately, I don't know the answer. Okay, what I will do, I will take you to Brahma, Lord Brahma, and let's ask the same question to him. So, Yamadharmaraja took this person, sinful person, to Lord Brahma, and they asked Lord Brahma. Brahma said, no, I don't know the answer. Let's go and ask Lord Shiva. Then Lord Brahma, then Yamadharmaraj, they took this person to Shiva. Shiva himself said, no, I don't know. This is such an intriguing question. I don't know the answer. Let's go and ask Lord Vishnu himself because he is the deliverer of everyone. So Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Yamadharmaraj, they all carried this person to Lord Vishnu and they went and asked Lord Vishnu, what is the glory of someone who has met a pure devotee? Then Lord Vishnu said, the glory is that when somebody has even once met my pure devotee, then he will be carried by you, Yamadharmaraj, you, Brahma, and you, Shiva, to me. That is the glory of such a person. See, this person is such a sinful person, but because he met my devotee, Narada Muni, you three are carrying him and bringing him to my place. That is the glory of associating with a pure devotee. And then further Lord Vishnu said, now you three, you please go back to your place and leave this person with me because from now on he is going to reside in Vaikunta. That is the result of someone who can even for a moment take association of a pure devotee. Right? So when we are actually associating with a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, in the form of reading his books, by reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, we are actually associating with Srila Prabhupada. This is not an easy thing at all. This doesn't come so easily. Right? We are all so fortunate. Because we are able to associate with such a personality like Srila Prabhupada in the form of his teachings, our journey back home to Vaikunta is actually guaranteed if we can practice whatever Srila Prabhupada is saying. That is the beauty of pure devotees association. Right? This is coming out from this Bhagavad Gita verse. And then Krishna, the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord, they are like super magnets. What will the super magnet do? It will convert even an iron filling into magnet. Right? You place a piece of iron and place on top of it a powerful magnet, then slowly the iron will also become magnetic. Similarly, the qualities of pure devotees are so pure that if you come in contact with them, then you also will become a devotee. Right? And then in the 10th verse, Krishna is speaking about how he is giving the knowledge to his devotee. And by that knowledge, they can come to him. Right? So, by reciting or studying Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is actually giving us that understanding. When we are in touch with Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will give us the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. On our own, we cannot get that intelligence. Only by Krishna's mercy, we can get that intelligence. And to show them such special mercy, Krishna himself is actually destroying all the ignorance. Now we are actually enlightened with spiritual knowledge, a little bit of spiritual knowledge, isn't it? By understanding Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 to chapter 10. This is only a limited knowledge that we have understood. Knowledge of Vedas are like ocean. It is very difficult for someone to understand the entire Vedas. Because by nature we are all ignorant. But Krishna is giving this assurance. When we can actually please Supreme Lord Krishna, he will shower his blessings, mercy on us, by which our ignorance will be dissipated. We will be completely rid of ignorance. So that is about these 4 slokas, the essence of Bhagavad Gita slokas. So the point here is purity is the force, books are the basis. When we can hear this message from a pure devotee, pure soul, then that has the capability to transform us. Right? So that's why it is very important that along with chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we need to also study Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because religion should always be complemented by scriptural knowledge or philosophical understanding. Without philosophy, we cannot practice religion. That will not last for long. We will start doubting whether the religious process we are following are right or wrong. So unless we have the scriptural understanding, philosophical understanding, merely practicing religious processes is not enough. Right? So we need to get always connected with Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita so that our intelligence will always be sharpened and our ignorance will be dissipated by Supreme Lord himself. Right? So this 4 slokas, it is also giving us Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Sambandha is the awareness of relationship with me and Krishna. Abhideya is the process by which I can achieve Krishna. And Prayojana is the ultimate goal. What is the goal that I want to achieve by studying Bhagavad Gita? That is Prayojana. So all these 3 aspects are clearly understood from these 4 slokas. Chapter 10, text number 8 to 11. Sambandha that we can get from text number 8, 10 and 11. Krishna says, I am the source of all the living entities. I am the source of knowledge and I destroy all impediment. So this relationship between me and Krishna is established by understanding these verses. And what is the Abhideya, the process by which we can attain Krishna? That also Krishna explains in these verses. Somebody who is surrendered to him, and the devotees whose thoughts are always thinking about Krishna. Life is devoted to Krishna's service. These are the processes by which we can attain Krishna. Right? Sambandha is establishing relationship. Abhideya is the process to attain him. And finally, Prayojana is where we become knowledgeable, we feel protected, and we also get great satisfaction when we are talking about Krishna. So these are the result or goal of following this process. Subsequently, in the third section, so far we covered section number 1 and 2. Right? The third section, Arjuna is starting to inquire about the ultimate abode, Krishna's abode. So he's saying that you are the eternal, transcendental, original person, unborn, the greatest. So when you love someone, the lesson that we can learn from this is that so that makes the experience sweeter both for you and others. When you sincerely love Krishna and we study and try to understand Bhagavad Gita, right? So that's when we start to ask higher questions in life. So far, in this material life, we are only asking questions related to where am I going to get my next meal? And where am I going to sleep? Who is going to be my life partner? And how can I have a safe life with a lot of bank balance? So basically, we are only worried about eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. But when we can actually understand the Supreme Lord by asking higher questions, right? So that is something which is going to be beneficial for us, and it is going to impress the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. He is going to become very happy when someone can actually ask these higher questions. Right? So Arjuna is asking Krishna to describe about his opulences, how he can always think about Krishna, how to know Krishna. So all these things Arjuna is asking in these verses, in the 10th chapter. So why Arjuna is asking such questions? Arjuna, by birth, he was a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Arjuna himself should not have such doubts, but actually Arjuna was asking on our behalf for common people. And he is also asking for the sake of devotees who want to taste the nectar. And finally, he is asking it for his own personal absorption, so that he can always remember Krishna, especially at the time of death. So the life lesson for us, so the purer we become, more we can think of Lord Krishna and less of ourselves. Right? So this is real compassion. So we need to always remember and think about Lord's pastimes, hear about Lord's pastimes from others, and that's when we start to think something beyond our own self. Otherwise, we are only leading a selfish life. If you want to lead a selfless life, then we need to understand the Supreme Lord Krishna. So, in the last section, Krishna is going to give the glimpse of how glorious he is. How Krishna is present everywhere. He is the essence of all the things. Many things that Krishna is actually mentioning in the sequence of verses. Right? So, of all the subtle elements, Krishna is the mind. And of all the great sages, Krishna is Narada Muni. Of all the Daityas, Krishna is Prahlada. Of all the water elements, Krishna is the ocean. Right? So basically, Krishna is saying he is the best among all those in that field. Right? Of all the sages, Narada is the best. So Krishna represents Narada. So basically, Narada Muni represents Krishna here. Right? You are getting the point? So like that, he is also saying that he is Shiva, and of all the military men, he is Kartikeya. Of all the Vedas, he is Samaveda. Of all the names, he is the holy name. Like that, Krishna is explaining how one cannot actually forget him. Whatever we are actually seeing, we can easily remember Krishna. I was saying in the previous class also, Krishna says that he is the taste of water. If you drink a sip of water, whatever taste that you are able to relish, especially when you are feeling so thirsty, right? When you even drink a small sip of water, it would actually taste like nectar, isn't it? So that taste in water is nothing but Supreme Lord Krishna. So as soon as you get to taste water, you immediately remember Krishna. Similarly, whenever you are looking at these personalities, immediately you should remember that Krishna is actually representing them. Right? And he's also saying that he is Airavata. Airavata is the elephant, elephant Vahana of Lord Indra. And he is none other than Emeraj. And of all the birds, he is Garuda. And Supreme Lord Krishna is time personified. Right? So all these Krishna is actually explaining. So a pure devotee, whenever he sees something extraordinary in this material world, immediately he remembers Krishna. Right? So one time I think I was sharing this past time. Maybe I will repeat that in case I have shared again. So basically, one time when Srila Prabhupada, founder of ISKCON, he was traveling in a flight from US to UK along with some devotees. So in the flight, they were actually screening some movies. As you can understand, when somebody who has traveled on international flights, you get to see watch movies. So in those days as well, they were actually showcasing some movie of Charlie Chaplin. So Srila Prabhupada, he was actually traveling on the flight and he was looking at that movie, and uncontrollably Srila Prabhupada was laughing like anything. As all of us have experienced, isn't it? Charlie Chaplin movies in our childhood days we have watched. So even though there won't be any audio, but still we enjoy the humor of Charlie Chaplin. So Prabhupada was laughing and laughing like anything. Then his servants, they were surprised. Just before getting into the plane, Prabhupada was actually giving a class that one should not watch television shows because that is going to corrupt our consciousness. Now, Prabhupada's disciples were amazed. How come that Prabhupada himself is watching Charlie Chaplin movies? And not just watching, he is enjoying the movie like anything. He is laughing like anything. Then the disciples, they could not control their curiosity. They went and asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, how should I understand this? You said that we should not watch TV, but you yourself are watching this Charlie Chaplin movie. And Prabhupada immediately said, in Charlie Chaplin's humor, I can actually see Krishna. Because Krishna says Krishna is the most humorous person. And as soon as I saw the humor of Charlie Chaplin, I immediately remembered Krishna. So that is the quality of someone, a pure devotee, who always remembers Krishna in all walks of time. Whatever activity he does, wherever he goes, whatever he sees, immediately he remembers Krishna. Right? So we are not in that position right now because we are all trying to practice Krishna consciousness. We all have so many material desires as well. We are not perfect devotees. But we need to understand from these statements of Krishna that remembering Krishna in all walks of time is not very difficult. It is doable. but just that it requires some practice, right? And the immediate practice that we can do is chant the holy name of Lord. By chanting Krishna's name, we can actually remember him. By hearing about Lord's glories, we can actually remember Krishna. Right? And so Krishna says, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Krishna summarized all the aspects by which we can understand Krishna. And finally, he says, I am pervading throughout the entire universe. Whatever you see in this universe, you will be able to understand me. Right? So with this knowledge that we get from this chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, we can actually able to understand how remembering Krishna or meditating on Krishna is not very difficult. Krishna is giving a lot of practical means by which we can always think about him. There are only two rules in Krishna consciousness. The first rule is that one should always remember Krishna. And the second rule is that one should never forget Krishna. These two rules may sound similar, but actually there is a slight difference. One should always remember Krishna means one should always be engaged in activities that would help us remember Krishna. Like, for example, when we are hearing about Krishna's pastimes, these 1.5 hours that we are sitting together in a Zoom class, we are all remembering Krishna. By chanting his holy name, we are remembering Krishna. In the form of preparing prasadam, we are actually remembering Krishna. By listening to some music, some kirtans on YouTube, we can actually remember Krishna. Right? So remembering Krishna, we always should try to endeavor, and we should never forget Krishna. That means what? Don't try to involve in activities which will make one forget Krishna. Right? So there are many activities like for example, I may be indulging in some sinful activity. With sinful activity, I tend to forget Krishna. I cannot remember Krishna. So the prescription is that one should always perform activities so that I can remember Krishna, and always abstain from activities which prevents me from forgetting Krishna. Right? So those are the thumb rules that we need to try and follow. And 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is giving us all knowledge by which we can always remember Krishna and never forget him. Right? So with that, I will come to the end of 10th chapter. As always, I would be more than happy to take your questions. Any questions that any one of you have? Yes, Padma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You said Sri Krishna everywhere. In that you explain what you explain about Airavata and Yama. Krishna is time, that is understood. And even Garuda. Can you just explain it again, Prabhu, if you don't mind?
Explain what?
Garuda also, the connection. See Krishna everywhere.
Right. So that is going to be a homework for all of you. Because these are only few aspects that we covered. There are n number of aspects that Krishna is talking about in the 10th chapter. It is quite evidently explained by Srila Prabhupada. Very nice purports. So if you don't mind, Mataji, not just for you, this is for all of you as well. To trigger your curiosity, you please go back to 10th chapter, read it for yourself, explained very nicely by Prabhupada. Yeah, thank you. Any other?
Prabhuji, he says before that, please don't go to any demigods. Okay. And in this 10th chapter, he says, I am Garuda, all the explanations he says that I am, whatever it is, whatever you see, I am in it, I am in that particular form.
Right.
So, don't you think it is contradictory? He says, then he's Kartikeya, then why don't, in one place he says, don't go to demigods.
No,
So, demigod is also Krishna only, isn't it?
no, you shouldn't understand it in that way. So when Krishna says, I am Kartikeya or I am Shiva, it doesn't literally mean that both are same. Actually means that we are not able to understand Krishna's glories. He is someone who is having all 6 opulences in full. With our material perception or senses, we won't be able to understand that at all. That's why Krishna is giving processes which are easier for us to understand. We have little bit of knowledge about all these devatas. We know about the great mountain Meru. We know about the great eagle Garuda. All these we have experiences. So these are personalities who are the great personalities in their own field. Like for example, in the sages community, Narada Muni is the greatest of all. So by looking at them, we immediately have to remember Krishna with an understanding that these personalities achieved this greatness by Krishna's mercy. That is how we need to understand, not other way around, thinking that both are one and the same. That is not the intention of Krishna's statement here.
Okay, thank you, Guruji.
But Yama only is the main thing, Prabhuji. Now, see, in Bhagavad Gita, he says, no, I am death personified.
Right.
Is he connected to the Yama?
So death personification, so Yama Dharma Raja is actually assisting death personification.
Okay.
Death personification is Krishna himself, actually.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Prabhuji, can you just send a link of that writing the Bhagavad Gita or something? I saw it in that Bhagavad Gita course, but I'm not able to go to that YouTube.
Gita Lekhan, you are saying, Mataji?
Yeah.
Okay, I will share details about that in the group.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Actually, just to give a short, since you brought up that point, just to give a short information on that. So basically, there is a drive coming from ISKCON worldwide that we want all the people around the world, whether devotees or non-devotees, everyone. You can actually write all the 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita in a notebook, which will be provided when you subscribe to that in Gita Lekhan. Once you subscribe by paying 300 rupees, I think, then you will be given these notebooks. One notebook for writing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and another notebook to write all the verses of Bhagavad Gita. So when you can write this and submit it back, then that particular book which you wrote, it will be kept in the temple of Vedic Planetarium, which is the temple that is coming up in ISKCON Mayapur, the headquarters of ISKCON. Yeah. There, as you know, we are building a big temple for Shri Radha Madhav and Panchatattva. In that temple, these books, which will be written by all of you, will be kept.
Okay, Guruji. Because I just saw that I wanted to do it.
Right. So I will give the information in the group. How you can subscribe to it.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Any other questions from others? Okay, so I strongly recommend, as I mentioned to Padma Mataji as well, please go through these verses in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I have only given you the glimpse. To understand more about these, I request you to study these verses, reading the translation and purport. You will easily understand, actually.
I know the Chatur Shloka by heart, Prabhuji. Chatur Shloka I know by heart.
Nice, very nice. Yeah. So this is equivalent to reciting all the verses.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, then we can end the session here. Meet you again tomorrow, same time, 3 o'clock.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, all devotees.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.